everybody. Welcome to Hangin from the Rafters. This is the brainchild talk show, music show in the great Rafters Tavern in Callicoon, New York. It's the brainchild of the producer and host, Brewster Smith. I'm Brewster Smith. I'm so pleased to be your host tonight. And no, I'm not Brewster Smith. Brewster Smith is our guest tonight. My name is Elizabeth Rose. These are my straps, and we will be hearing in a moment from one of my very favorite singer-songwriters, an amazing person, one of the co-owners of Rafters Tavern here in Callicoon, New York. So how about we get right into some music, but first a big welcome for Brewster Smith. Yay!
With the applause machine. That's great.
It's your applause machine. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
I almost lost my name. I was so excited. So we have many things to talk about tonight. And this was, we're going to talk, we're going to have some music, but I would love to see if you would be willing to just start off with a song.
Just start off with a song.
Just start off with one of your wonderful original tunes.
All right. Well, then you will have to help me out.
Oh, okay. Thank you all for joining us. And by the way, just before we get started, while we're setting up, as you know, we have had some struggles here in our community and all across the world in our businesses. So if you feel inclined from the bottom of your heart to generously donate any little bit of money to Rafters, it just helps, keeps the light on. And here is where you would send a little donation, www.venmo.com/Rafters-Tavern. Okay, well, thank you so much for your generosity. We were very happy to get some beautiful donations in the last week or so. This is episode 4.
4 already.
It's 4. And in our room, we have just a few good friends. We have episode 2's very own Lucas Rotman and Jen and his wife and Molly and my husband, Don Costello, whom you all probably know. And Keith, is Keith still here? Is he?
Nobody knows.
I heard him clucking around.
Okay.
Nobody knows.
Well, what you going to do for us, Brewster?
I guess I'll start with a song called The Moment.
Good.
You ready for that one?
Good choice.
I love this song.
All right.
Sing me my part, please.
Okay.
We just changed it today. I got it.
There you go. Well, I find myself amused by the cause and effect of actions, all the various distractions in a day. Just one word to another makes an enemy or brother. Wait a moment and the moment slips away. Slips away. There you go. It's all so confusing, all this winning and the losing. How and why, who could ever say? When the heart that you've been using has taken quite a bruising. Wait a moment and the moment slips away. Slips away. I think I may have started up the steep side of the mountain. Nowhere to go but up anyway. Hey, a memory can kick you hard sometimes where it hurts, but for a moment and the moment slips away. Slips away. Got a solo here. right sometimes where it hurts, but for a moment and the moment slips away, slips away, slips away, slips away. Thank you. Thank you very much.
The moment. Brewster, I get to interview you. I'm so excited. I just have so many questions to ask you. I don't even know where to start. You grew up in New Jersey.
True story.
Which exit?
I don't actually recall. Which exit.
It doesn't matter.
Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey. They're down the shore.
But you come from a musical family, correct?
I do come from a musical family. My dad is a jazz sax musician living in Thailand, and my sister is a great singer and actress.
Hi, Stacy.
She's in all. My sister Stacy. That's right. She's in all kinds of plays and all that kind of stuff. So choruses. So we're all in it.
That's so cool. And is your dad watching us from Thailand tonight, you think?
He might be, but he as he mentioned when he was watching last time, that it's like 7 a.m. there. So
he's a jazz musician.
it is a sacrifice for him to be watching.
Oh.
Mama Leone, right?
Hi.
Watching from Florida.
And hey, folks, by the way, you can get in on the live chat. We've got Molly monitoring the live chat, and she will be waving at me if you have any questions for Brewster, because I know that he just wants to answer a lot of questions.
I'm just full of answers.
Just interested.
Full of something.
You're such an eclectic songwriter and singer. I know that you started as a drummer, playing club date bands, weddings, and things like that.
True story.
So you had a lot of musical influences. Who are some of your top musical influences?
You know, I had a feeling that you might ask me something like that today, and I was trying to think about it, and it's not a particular musician. I think my dad is probably my biggest musical influence, just because he did some things. He was very supportive of me learning drums, taking me to lessons. He would take me to jazz concerts. I played in his wedding band from the age of 12, until my 30s, I think. And he just like opened my mind to like a lot of different things. Paul Simon, my family, listened to a lot of Billy Joel. This is early on. Pink Floyd, I remember. Beatles, tons of Beatles. And then later on, when I started listening to my own stuff, it was, Metallica. And I, toured in a lot of punk bands, things like that.
When did you start writing songs?
That's it's a tough question. When did I start writing
your own
decent songs, or when did I start writing songs if they are decent?
When did you start writing songs?
I think probably 15.
And what moved you to write a song? Do you remember?
At the time, I didn't have any instruments. I wanted to branch off into other instruments, but I had the drums, and that's it. And my dad had a dual cassette player. He always had great stereo systems and these dual cassette players. So when I didn't have instruments, I would have my vocals do all of the instruments, or I'd fill glasses with water, or I'd do things like that and just create music with whatever I had on hand. And I used to do that for hours, like every day, come up with new things on cassette. Of course, when you're bouncing cassettes back and forth, you sound like the Chipmunks by the time you're done, because it gets faster and faster and faster. So I'd have to start by singing low, trying to catch up to where I knew it was going to be.
And your first song, do you remember what it was at 15? Was it a heartbreak song?
I only know... This is all I remember. I hope I live to see the day when everyone can say I love this world of mine. That was one verse of the first song I ever wrote.
Wow, that's amazing. Brewster we've been doing the open mic, the virtual open mic for Rafters Tavern every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, we haven't been able to play together. This is the first time we've had a chance to actually play in the same room together. But what Brewster told me, that's really inspired him, this was just told me in a side conversation, that it was more intimate. You got into the intimacy of the music, right?
Yeah, somehow, I don't know. A lot of people are out there on video today on Zoom and all that doing a lot of music. And one thing that I found is I perceive the stakes as being lower, maybe because I'm surrounded by my own comforts. And so I'm a little braver about, pulling things out that I probably wouldn't do if I was on stage in front of a crowd. So in that way, it's actually helped me open up a bit,
That's amazing. And I've known you been playing with you for
10 years,
essentially
at least.
since this is our 10th year. And I hadn't heard some of these songs, and they're all little gems, just like that one you just played a little snippet of. I think I'm ready for another song. How about you guys, right?
Another song.
What you gonna do?
That's a good question.
Would you like a suggestion?
What about You're All Right?
Oh, okay.
Oh, were you going to suggest something else?
Let's do You're All Right. It's
Okay.
a great song.
Okay.
Brewster changed some arrangements I've been doing with him for years today. So I have notes.
There is a request for I vote for you.
Oh.
That has to be my mom.
Yes, that is.
Oh. Janet Liebert.
It's on the list. It
Right.
will be done. It will be done.
And say hello to the Admiral for me.
The captain.
I know.
He's
I call
also,
him Admiral.
that's right, Admiral Smith. Okay.
This is You're All Right by Brewster Smith, an assumed name.
Love can tear you down, try to break you, and sometimes makes you feel the dark is deeper than the dawn. You can run, but how far will that take you? A life tonight of love that's never lost, but never won. No, you've been hurt. Now you're lonely. Is it worth another try when you may only find another who will break your heart again? Here we are, you and me. This is how it's supposed to be. Can't you see you're all right now? You and I, face to face. Yeah, you're gonna be okay. Here with me, you're all right now. Oh, you're all right now. I can see those sturdy walls all around you. They keep out all the bad, but then they keep the good out too. Ooh, you wanna hold on to something. Well, don't you know you'll yearn to live when you learn to let go? But I know that you still hurt. Now you're lonely. Is it worth another try when you may only find another who will break your heart again? Here we are, you and me. This is how it's supposed to be. Can't you see you're all right now? You and I, face to face. Yeah, you're gonna be okay. Here with me, you're alright now. Oh, you're alright now. Oh, well, you still hurt. Now you're lonely. Is it worth another try when you may only find another who will break your heart again? Here we are, you and me. This is how it's supposed to be. Can't you see you're alright now? You and I, face to face. Yeah, you're gonna be okay. Here with me, you're alright now. Oh, you're alright now. Oh, you're alright now. Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for the electronic applause and the real applause. All very much appreciated.
So what is your idea of perfect happiness?
You're pulling out my question.
Yeah.
What's my idea of perfect
What
happiness?
is your idea of perfect happiness?
My idea of perfect happiness is not a final destination. My idea of perfect happiness is the striving for that on a daily basis, like with Molly, right? Like every day we think about each other and we think about what we can do to make our days happy and appreciate little things, even in the struggles of having a business during these pandemic times, things like that. But it's more the mindset of the desire to be happy, which results most often, at least you have a better chance of getting there if that's your mindset. And so, yeah, it's not a final destination, but it is a daily thought process.
Very interesting. And I know that you keep your marriage very green, and don't you? But you have instituted a 2-year program, right? With your marriage?
Well, that sounds very technical. We've instituted a 2-year program in our marriage. It's,
I'm very corporate.
well, what we do renew our vows every 2 years. We've been married many times now. And we do that because we heard that you're a newlywed for 2 years after you get married. And after that, you're no longer a newlywed. So we wanted to be newlyweds for all time. And so we renew the vows every 2 years.
Would you be willing to tell us some of your interesting wedding renewal places and costumes that you have used?
Costumes.
Yeah.
Well, we were originally married in a barn in Pennsylvania. We still don't know why we did that, because we had no connection at the time to Pennsylvania or to country living for that matter. So, but that's what we did with a bluegrass band.
Did you wear funny clothes?
No. It was
That was the first one.
Yeah, you don't mess around with the first one. The first one is got to be right. The second one was in Vegas with an Elvis impersonator whose pink Cadillac broke down in the parking lot of the trailer park that we were in. And so we got married in the parking lot where people unfolded chairs, people we didn't know. They just saw someone getting married and a reason to celebrate. So they opened their chairs and they watched us get married. That was really cool.
What were you wearing?
I think we went with more 50s looking outfits.
Did you wear sideburns, Elvis?
No.
Did you eat a lot? Did
No,
you
I had a
fat
lot of
Elvis?
respect. No, I had a lot of respect for the Elvis impersonator. He was great. His name was Eddie Powers. And anybody goes to Vegas and you need an Elvis impersonator, look up Eddie Powers. He was absolutely mint. And what was great about that wedding was because his car broke down and he couldn't leave for 3 hours, he was stuck with us, that we just sat there and I bounced off Elvis songs that I loved and he just broke into song for 3 hours. It was great. We've been married in a Buddhist ceremony in Thailand, in an abandoned monastery in Ireland.
How about that Niagara Falls wedding?
Niagara Falls, Molly sewed a wedding dress out of raincoat material because we knew it would be getting wet.
It was great.
So we got married in Niagara Falls. And I just watched the video of that the other day. What was cool about that is Molly and I were just looking at each other and the officiant. So it was the three of us in this boat filled with people who are there to see the falls. But after he said, "I now pronounce you man and wife," the whole boat erupted because they had been watching us get married. And I thought that was cool.
Was it the Maid of the Mist bride?
Maid of the Mist, that's right.
Was it underneath the waterfall that you actually?
I wasn't looking at the
No.
waterfall.
Oh, but you were getting sprayed.
We were
right?
getting misted, that is for sure.
It's wonderful. I remember when Molly made that beautiful dress out of raincoat material. It was a life-changing experience for me too.
Was it?
Yes, it was. Well, you have had a request from a beautiful lady named Janet to
That's
play
my
a
mom.
certain song. Would you like to play that song for us?
I could do that one. And that song, by the way, was Elizabeth Rose and I and some others were.
Lucas and
That's right.
and
We were all in
Debbie.
in a songwriting circle
Yes.
where we inspire each other to write. And we were given homework. Somebody came up with the idea. I think it was you, right? Said, "Let's all write a political song." Which,
And he didn't like that.
well, it's not really my thing. But
But he did
I
it.
wrote my version of a political song,
He did it.
and it goes something like this. Should you decide to run for office, I would vote for you, because you stand for sweetness and you always speak the truth. That's you. Should you decide to run for Congress, you could bridge the great divide. Elephants and donkeys would agree that the finest place to be is by your side. I would vote for you. All politics aside, the world is far more beautiful when I see through your eyes. Love is your campaign, it's what makes us all the same. And that is why I would vote for you. Should you decide to run for president, you'd set the precedent of all mankind. How to embrace each other, turn enemies to brothers, and leave no one behind. All politics aside, the world is far more beautiful when I see through your eyes. Love is your campaign, is what makes us all the same. And that is why I
would vote for you. That's what I do. Oh, that is why I would vote for you.
Oh, I love that song. Yeah.
Wonder who that was for.
Oh, I thought that if I was not careful about questions I was making up for you, that every answer would be Molly. Molly.
Could happen.
Molly.
Could happen.
Molly's sitting right over here, and I think we have another question from the chat.
Chip Farelli asked, does anything in particular drive your songwriting? A vocal melody, chord sequence, lyric? Or does it vary?
It's lasagna, right, Chip? Oh, okay.
It's mostly lasagna. No, it's actually I don't know how I write stuff. I don't know how it comes to me. I do know that certain, like I have certain rules I like to go by. I mean, one is I want the chord structure to be something that interests me. So it's not going to be something that's I try not to do something that's too typical or something like that. And I want the melody line and the chord structure together to create a mood by itself. And then the words will match the mood that's created. But I think more along the lines of sort of classical music or an instrumental that creates a feeling or emotion, and then the lyrics will come in to match that.
You mostly have been writing by yourself, right? You haven't done a lot of co-writing with other songwriters up until recently.
That is correct.
And is that a bit of a stretch now? Because you and I and Chip have been working together as a little pod of three, working on a few things. We had to suspend it, unfortunately, in March. But I remember that there was a point at which we were showing each other new songs and we would work on a song and bring it into the group. And then suggestions would be made. And did you have a little bit of a adjustment to that?
Not really, because that falls into a different category for me. And this is something I very much like to do also. Because over the years, people have asked me to do this, which is they have 50 to 75% of a song already, or a song seed. And then I do a little producing a bit and say, what if we do this? Or what if that happens? And, as you know, I'm a believer in like building things, right? Making sure there's dynamics. There's not much going on here and there's more going on there, and try to create a terrain that you have to pay attention to navigate, rather than something you're just gonna like cruise by and miss something maybe. So
your songs, for me, are definitely pay attention songs. I have to go shed on those to be able to get through it, get them a lot. They're great. They take those interesting turns and little road trips, but they work. They're structured beautifully, both lyrically, melodically, and harmonically.
thank you.
So should we do another song, or shall I ask you another silly question? I'm going to ask you another question.
Okay.
How's that for answering my own question? Do we have anything else coming in over there, Molly, right now? Okay.
Sandra Carey says sweet song.
Who said that?
Sandra Carey says sweet song.
Thank you, Sandra.
Yay. Do you have a favorite hero in fiction?
In fiction,
In fiction?
Ebenezer Scrooge.
Oh, that was really interesting.
Well, here's the thing. I've always been drawn to A Christmas Carol because
Which one? Adeste Fidel? Oh, no, go ahead.
the Dickens, yeah. Because there was a time in my life I wasn't that happy, and I was kind of angry, and I was terrible in customer service and all that. And Ebenezer Scrooge gets shown the light through the
Sure.
kindness of some spirits, who want to change his direction. And he changes that in such a way that his whole trajectory is changed, and he's treating people well, and he's doing all that kind of stuff. And I kind of feel like at one point I was Ebenezer Scrooge, and I changed directions. And so
Wow.
it's that story to me actually is the power of transformation.
That's great. Well, I think we need a transformative song.
A transformative song.
Yeah, That's
Which one?
really interesting. Your choice. It's your place.
I forgot what my list was.
Okay, you have reflections and always and
Oh, well,
the moment. Did we do the moment? We
could do
did.
reflections, I guess.
Reflections. Another wonderful Brewster tune.
If I can remember all the lyrics to this one.
It's 6 o'clock in the morning, but for us the night is young. The sun can't touch a heart kept in the darkness, so we just party on, surrounded by my best friends, all of whom I hate. And my nose runs like a river, just flowing down my face. These bloodshot eyes see all too clearly, and here's my conundrum. Am I simply not myself, or is this who I've become? Am I simply not myself, or is this who I've become? All around the table, such witty repartee, though reality and truth vie for attention, we push them far away. And I don't want to read between the lines, afraid that I might see the reflected looking back over the mirror, looks just like me. These bloodshot eyes see all too clearly, and here's my conundrum. Am I simply not myself, or is this who I've become? To fly so high, to say so dearly, for all we've said and done. Am I simply not myself, or is this who I've become? Is this who I've become?
Isn't that just the feel-good song of the year?
That's a
Hi.
brilliant song. Was that on Abbey Road? No, that was that's a wonderful song, and I know that came out of our songwriter circle too. And it was a very courageous song and beautifully written. Again,
Thank you.
sculpted. On a lighter note,
Sure.
I want to just mention most of you watching. We got a big crowd watching tonight, which is great. Hi, everybody. We love you for being here. And don't forget, you can donate to Rafters Tavern. Just go to venmo.com/Rafters-Tavern. Thank you. Okay. And I want to just say we have merchandise now for Rafters Tavern. I already ordered a few shirts. You can go to rafterstavern.com. You can get baseball caps and water bottles and all sorts of accessories and all kinds of really cool hoodies. I know some people out in Matamoros have bought a couple of hoodies already. So, yeah, the Rafters Tavern merchandise is the rage, folks. It's the rage. You can select your own colors. You can buy them for gifts, and you can just walk around wearing that Rafters Tavern look. Okay, but Rafters Tavern is, of course, Brewster and Molly's, but also Keith Thompson, a very talented guy, is the third owner. And Brewster and you and Keith go back. He's one
like 25 years.
25 years, one of your closest friends. And I know that you have had a tendency in the past, long before you were settled down in your marriage and doing all these important jobs that you do, corporate coaching and all, regular coaching too. You were a bit of a prankster, am I not
That is
mistaken?
a true story.
Would you care to tell us about a prank or two? I mean, I have a list here, but I'm not.
Okay. A prank or two, one of the best ones, right? And you can do this at home.
This is for
It's
Keith.
easy. So Keith was dating this girl at the time. Keith was in the basement apartment, and I was on the top apartment of a triplex.
This is in Brooklyn?
This is in Brooklyn, Carroll Gardens, Brooklyn. And I knew that he would be coming home with this girl, going down the basement steps, turning on the light, and bringing her to his room. So I bought some extra large size Fruit of the Loom tighty whities. And I got a colored pencil, brown colored pencil, and I colored skid marks, dark skid marks in the bottom of these bright white underwear, and then I placed them strategically on his floor. So as soon as he turned on the light, he and the girl he was with would see these skid marked underwear on the floor. So that was hysterical.
And then my favorite. Do you know what my favorite was?
Is it the milk?
No, it was in the little. That was a revolving door.
Oh yeah. See, Keith has a weak stomach, so sometimes he'll gag if there's the wrong smell or something, and I'm perfectly fine sabotaging myself if I can, if I can do a good gag, and I had moved out of the apartment. But we'd go on adventures. I'd say, hey, what do you want to do today? Be like, I don't know, Coney Island, go on a drive, whatever. So I'd pull up in front of the place in Brooklyn and honk the horn or text him I'm here. And then he'd have to come out into a vestibule, a small square between doors, turn around, lock the door, and then leave. So for a period of time, he's trapped in a small area. And I don't know if you've ever heard of liquid ass. But there is a product called Liquid Ass. It's probably between $3 and $6 per bottle. At one point, I was so excited by Liquid Ass, I bought 6 bottles. But after experiencing the first bottle, I gave away the other 5 because it was like handling nuclear material. Anyway, I showed up at the house. I sprayed the vestibule generously with Liquid Ass. And then I went back out and texted him, I'm here, and then watched the fun as he stepped in, turned around, and had to try to lock the door while surrounded with a noxious vapor. So.
Oh my God. I don't know if I can get through the rest of this hour. My makeup is destroyed. That is the funniest thing.
Well, he's pranked me a number of times, so it's back and forth. We try to keep Molly out of it, but.
Well.
Because it
Molly
still
doesn't
goes on,
prank,
by the way.
right? Molly doesn't prank. Or does she?
She doesn't.
Oh, okay. Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
We
Okay.
assume I can't take it.
Do we have any more questions from the large audience that we have? I don't mean that you're large. You're a very good-looking audience.
Well, we just had some check-ins, Poison Love, and
Hi, Poison Love. Hi, Jen.
Stacy is on.
Oh, cool.
Stacy.
My friend
That's my
Catherine
sister.
Chat.
All
Very
right.
exciting.
Cool. And Chip, what are you all wearing? Oh,
That's classic.
I guess that's not. Let's see. We're doing well. I wanted to know, on what occasions do you lie?
On what occasions do I lie? Interesting questions. I wonder what questions you were going to come up with. On what occasions do I lie? I think when I was young, I did some of that. I don't
I think you're lying.
I don't know. What it is this, and whether or not people say this is very political or what, I believe that you can say almost, and this is bad because of what's going on in the world today. I think people are saying sometimes just terrible things. So leaving all that aside, being a communications guy, I believe that you can say much more than you think you can. It just depends on how you say it. And if you always care about the person you're speaking to, there's a saying that I like, which Jimmy Carter has in one of his books or something. It says, you should have two great loves in your life. One is God or whatever that is for you. And the second is whoever is in front of you at any given moment.
Wow.
And that's a pretty good rule. So, I mean, if you choose to really care about it, and it is a choice to really care about the person you're talking to, then you can say almost anything, but just be aware of who you're speaking to and how you're going to say that. So I have to admit that I can't think of times when I lie recently. Love?
No,
Is there anything?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Not that you know of.
Well, was it yesterday? Today we were sitting down to play for the first time. I hadn't played the songs for a few months,
Mhm.
and they're complex songs, and I like to go shed on them, and I hadn't had time because I didn't know the song list yet. And I tried to get through one of the solos on one of the songs that I have since practiced, and I didn't quite make it 2 times in a row. And you said to me, some of it is a little inconsistent.
Was that bad though?
No, I'm glad you said it, but in my family we'd be yelling at each other and cursing. No, not really.
Well, I'm
Just kidding.
definitely not a yeller.
No.
And people might think this is weird, but when I'm by myself, I curse like anything. I mean,
When you're driving, right?
like when I'm driving or when I'm by myself, look, that pissed off guy that used to exist in me is still there.
Mm.
It's just I keep him way far down. I don't actually even use profanities.
No.
I don't think anybody in here, unless Molly has heard me by accident once or something like that, nobody in here has ever heard me curse.
Never.
And you're not likely to.
Never. I have never heard that. Why do you drive so fast?
Because I'm living on the edge.
I have driven down the city in the backseat of your car a couple of times. And I didn't have Xanax at the time. But why do you drive so fast?
Am I that bad, love? Honestly.
Yes.
No, you have very, very good reflexes, so it's okay.
I don't look. I have to disagree. I don't think I go that
Just don't
fast.
drive fast. Lucas?
Don't ask
You
Lucas.
drove back from Nashville.
I know how he drives.
Yeah.
Don't ask
I went a
Lucas.
lot of miles.
You went from Nashville, right?
Yes.
Together. Right. And he drives fast. Lucas, why do you drive so slow?
Look, all you could say is I drive faster than Lucas and I drive faster than you. I'll give you that. But look, Molly is the most precious thing. If I thought that I was putting her in danger, I would not.
Have you ever driven the speed limit?
On occasion.
Really?
Yeah.
When the siren's following? Wow. No.
Yeah.
You get into trouble.
Okay, no, he doesn't.
That's right.
He always drives the speed limit. I think we're doing well. We're going to do more music, right? We want more music from Brewster, right?
Yes.
Let's hear a resounding yeah. Thank you.
Mhm.
Keep it down, Chip.
All right. What else is on this list that I made? Oh well, the country tune, right?
Yeah, we did.
Is
country
lighthearted
I
after
love
the
this.
heavy duty one I did earlier.
tune. My notes.
I'm not as big a fan of this song, but I know Elizabeth.
Oh yeah.
Elizabeth likes it, and I wrote it in a U-Haul truck on the way back from Montana. This is one of those tunes that just wrote itself.
Right.
I just handed off the pad and pen and said, "Write this down," and I said all the lyrics from start to finish. I already had the music and everything, and then I just played it.
And okay, it's
Okay.
based on something that somebody said in a bar somewhere in Montana.
We stopped at a bar in Montana. There was a
Don't-
guy there,
And
I
then-
know. There's just a
I
guy
told you
there.
not to make a big introduction.
I know. There was a guy there missing a thumb,
Oh,
and I actually asked him how he lost his thumb.
tell us, please.
And that's how the song started, with his answer. I lost my thumb in a combine in 1975. Remember that wreck in my pickup truck? I barely got out alive. Well, you couldn't say I'm a stranger to pain, but I would go through it all over again rather than face the pain of losing your love. I would hold a lightning rod in the rain, jump without my shoe from a plane, rather than face the pain of losing your love. Well, now maybe I'm a big baby when it comes to affairs of the heart, but I don't mind, I've nothing to fear so long as we never part. I'd lay on the tracks of an oncoming train, knock myself down again and again, rather than face the pain of losing your love. Well, now maybe I'm a big baby when it comes to affairs of the heart, but I don't mind, I've nothing to fear so long as we never part. I'd lay down the tracks of an oncoming train, knock myself down again and again, rather than face the pain of losing your love. Rather than face the pain of losing your love. Thank you. My only real country tune.
I love that tune. That's a great tune. Wow. Which country was that written for?
Nobody knows.
Ah, okay.
Nobody can say.
What talent would you most like to have?
Is making money a talent?
Your answers, please. Is making money a talent? That's a very ontology recapitulates. No. What? I don't know how to answer that. You would like the talent regarding making money?
Well, talent, that's specific. So I'm mixing it up with like attribute or quality or any one of these things. If I had yeah, look, some people have a talent for making money. I think they do.
I think you're right.
I
think you're right.
It comes with a certain mentality.
Please send a donation into Venmo.com/Rafters Tavern with a little hyphen between Rafters and Tavern. Those of you with a talent for making money, throw some of it into Rafters Talent. We need this place to keep existing. It's an
Yes.
existential ask. And thank you for your talent. Are
Well,
there
like-
any talent? Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that, there's that show, The Prophet. You ever see that?
Oh, The Prophet, yes.
Yeah, so that guy, a lot of it is know-how and experience, but he knows how to make money, and he just goes into businesses and fixes them and does all that kind of stuff and invests. So, if I had that kind of focus, my mind isn't like that. My mind is like wild butterflies going around all the time, and I'm with a net just trying to catch this idea. and Molly is really good at the finer details to get us to that place. Keeping me grounded.
Well, that's really interesting. So, money aside, what would you consider your greatest achievement?
Achievement. That's a tough question. I don't mean to be difficult, but that's a tough question because I don't really think in terms of achievements either. Like I don't. When I think of achievement, I think of like looking at myself of like I'm proud that I did something, and I don't have a lot of that. The doggy daycare thing. I was proud of when I did the doggy daycare thing because I did it for 15 years and I helped expand that company and took care of the people that worked for me and I learned a lot in that 15 years. So I mean, if that was maybe it was the mentality, right? Because you start out in doggy daycare mopping up urine and picking up crap. And that's
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, well, that's the main part of the job. I mean, the dogs are cute and all that, but it's a very dirty job. And if you're not careful, that works on your psyche and you start feeling bad about yourself and like you don't have much worth. And I knew that because I started to go that route myself until I decided I'm going to be the best that I can be where I'm at. It's not about finding a new job. It's about being great here, So I did that and I was successful in that way. So, and quitting smoking, maybe that was another achievement.
What about all these songs you've written? Do you feel a sense of achievement about that?
No, because maybe you can tell me if you feel this way, but for me, it's like some of the better songs that I've written were more like they came to me like from somewhere else. I don't almost feel like I didn't have that much to do with it. It was dictation, right? It came, and then you write it and all that. So I didn't really feel like it was something that I did per se. I mean, maybe I had the ability to translate what I was hearing, but writing the songs, I never wrote a song that was like that. That's an achievement.
No?
Not really.
That's interesting because they're always sort of works in progress, but I feel the same way that they come in and they tug on you and say your sleeve and say, finish me. And it's an amazing experience. You just stay open to it. But I think those are great achievements of yours. And you recorded a couple of albums,
Did
right?
that, yeah.
And one is called Always. And what is the first one called?
That one's just called Brewster.
Brewster. And these are available on iTunes, are they not?
True story. The first album, though, is like from the 90s.
It's okay.
And
We're all from the 90s. We were there.
true that.
Right? Everybody has been in the 90s. Everybody out there in TV land? Yeah. 90s.
Hopefully one day there'll be another album.
How many have been in the 80s? 70s? 70s, 60s?
I was born in the 60s.
Born in the 60s. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. Donnie? Yeah, so that's a wonderful album. And of course, there's your more recent album. And these are full production albums with your band. And you have a band.
I was very lucky to have the band that I have. I mean, we're all spread out now. And, obviously, we were spread out even before the pandemic hit, just because that's what happens in life. But John Maley and John King, the best band ever. I mean, John Maley is an amazing drummer, and we played together for, I guess it's over 15 years now. But we were going at it pretty serious for a while. And John King, they call him Fingers King, and he's an amazing guitar player. He's still out there playing, and so is John Maley. Actually, I mean, they're like practically full-time music as it is, but.
Well, we have to probably start to go to the last song, but I just want to tell everyone, if you haven't gotten these albums of Brewster's, you really need to. The productions and you produced them, and you did it beautifully. The songs are so beautifully produced and beautifully recorded. And the
second
album,
one, John Maley had a lot to do with producing.
Okay.
We did it together.
Great job.
But he put a lot into producing that, and he's a great producer, great person to record with. So John Maley, you should contact him if you want to record your next album.
And I would like to request that you do this title song from that album. The name of that album, which you can find on iTunes, is Always.
Always. All right. This one was a production. And this is one. Every part I wrote, I don't know where it came from. I don't know where any of this came from. Peace within the walls of my mind was once so hard to find. Now it's mine. Everything is bright. I have you. Thanks for showing me the light. I mean it. You have my heart for always. Life's not so unkind. Love came through. Love always brings me home to you. Oh, to you. Everything is bright. I have you. Thanks for showing me the light. I mean it. You have my heart for always. Though we may go our ways, you have my heart for always. For always. Thanks for showing me the light. I mean it. You have my heart for always. Though we may go our own ways, you have my heart for always. For always.
Brewster Smith, everybody, thank you so much.
Thank
And
you very
we'll
much.
see you tomorrow at the virtual open mic, and we'll see you next week right here hanging on the Rafters. Bye, everybody. Thank you, Brewster.
Thank you, Elizabeth Rose.
Woo!
Nice, nice. I like that. I like it.
We're still live.
Oh, so much.
We're in the dark, dancing dark. What?
Is that over here?
Almost.
End. Done.
Got it?
Oh,